What's up, guys and gals? It's time for the latest piece of One Piece, chapter 1148, entitled Ranja. Now, this chapter, immediately, Scopper Gaban, the left hand of the Pirate King. And even the Gods Knights are like, oh shit, son. That is exactly what is going down right now, and I am here for it. I am here for it because as a fan of manga and anime for over 25 years, I always have loved the old guard. The old guard, and they always get to a level, they get the respect, but near the end they always have that little disrespect. Do you know what I mean? They're either nerfed due to an emotional trauma, or there's some crazy hacks ability, or they specifically designed a specific character to counteract their ability, you know? The old guard is always, in most shonen manga and seinen manga, is always badass and always get nerfed or overwhelmed, or just the enemy specifically goes in and makes sure, okay, he's the problem, she's the problem, they're the problem. We combine all our forces to make sure that that person can't move, and then we move on, right? So the fact of the matter is here is that One Piece is no different in a sense. You know, we have Garp, who has been obviously, is well past his prime, but still a force of nature. We have old, as the community calls, old sick Whitebeard, right? Then we have Rayleigh, hasn't lifted a sword in 20 years. But now we have, and I have already brought this up in these Elbaf chapters, Scopper Gaban is similar to Garp in the sense of he's been on Elbaf this whole time, a place with literal dinosaur monsters. He's living on Skull motherfucking Island, fighting King Kong-sized powerhouses to bring home the daily bacon. You know, he's not Rayleigh. He's not sitting there drinking whiskey every day and being like, Shaki, do you want to hook up? I'm going to go get myself caught. I'm out of gambling money. You know what I mean? Scopper ain't sitting in the casino, and I love Rayleigh. I understand. The man deserves his retirement, and he's still able to go toe-to-toe with an Admiral class. So, fact of the matter is, Rayleigh has done nothing wrong. I'm just saying that Scopper right now, who apparently, from everything we've been told, is sitting here as the man who stood toe-to-toe with not only Rayleigh, but with Roger himself, and he's sitting back and I didn't stop working out. You know what I mean? It's sort of the reverse effect, you know? We have the right hand of the future Pirate King being Zoro, who we constantly see on the boat. He's always working out and stuff, and we see Sanji being the cook, because those are their roles, right? But then we almost have the reverse effect here. Now the left hand is the one that's surpassing the right hand, in their older years, only for the simple fact that it seems like he hasn't been sitting on his laurels. I'm sure he enjoys a good time, but he's been climbing mountains, both figuratively and sexually, this entire goddamn lull. This entire 20 years. He's the mountain slayer. He's the mountain eater in more ways than one. So let's go. Let's go. And here we're just seeing it. I love the respect. Oda, I feel like Oda is just like me in that regard. He watched these animes and stuff like that, and he was like, these guys were so cool, and then they got past their prime, but they should still be badass, you know what I mean? He has such a level of respect for the old guard that he created in his manga that he's just like, yeah, no, the old guard will not be disrespected in my story, in my manga. And I'm like, that's my guy. As the Garp defender for 20 goddamn years, and everyone called me a fraud, yeah, I'm here. I'm here for this. So Scopper shows up. Jinbei can't do anything. So this chapter We continue the cover serial. We get, it's entitled Ranja, of course, because that's the name of the little girl who ends up walking the plank, so to speak, or walking the arrow, but walking the plank, very pirate-esque, you know what I mean? And it's actually a very heartfelt chapter, but in the cover serial here, we just get the fact that Page 1 and Uki are now part of Yamato's now new reformed daimyo, you know what I mean? They're going to be her retainers sort of idea going forward and stuff, and she's moving on to the next region. Speed is still there. Nice to see Speed. Speed is still there with Otama. Yeah, I had a moment there. And yeah, so that's all going gravy. That's all going fine. Now, once again, we have these God's Knights that have these hacks abilities for the reason that, like, Robin and Jinbei and Brooke can't fight them, right? You know, and we don't have our monster trio, you know. Once again, if it requires Conqueror's Hockey, realistically, not even the monster trio. We need Zoro and we need Luffy. We need these two. We don't even need Sanji. Sanji will do as well as Brooke or Jinbei or Robin at this point if it's Conqueror's Hockey required. We don't actually know, and we still don't know at the end of this chapter. However, Jinbei has already said, like, I let ourselves be captured because wasting stamina is a bad idea. We need to wait for an opening, and we need to play it cool. I'm like, Jinbei, being level-headed here, even though I am upset at the way the God's Knights and the regeneration has been introduced, I do like Jinbei as a character here being like, wasting my most powerful abilities where they're not going to do anything and I'm going to be, you know, bushed is not the right answer right now, right? So good on Jinbei and good on everyone. Robin has just had enough of this shit. And I am very appreciative of that because I did bring that up. That, yes, Saul basically said stand down and stuff like that. So they were listening to Saul. And at this point, Robin's just like, absolutely not. So she goes out there. She's an absolute badass. Like, okay, so we have 3 sections of this chapter. They sort of coincide. One is, of course, the Robin versus Summers fight, where Robin just has no corner. It's like, oh, you're immortal? Let's test that. Break the bat. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yes, Robin, go. You go, girl. You are. Like, let's go. Robin, like, you're supposed to be, like, one of the top members of the Straw Hats. You know what I mean? She's supposed to be right below Jinbei. She's supposed to be right there. Brooke, Robin are supposed to be right up here. You know what I mean? And we haven't really been seeing that as much lately, ever since Wano. But now it's like, yeah, come on. This is a God's Night. You've been fighting the commanders of Yonkos. If the God's Knights were so goddamn good, they would have went into Totland. They would have went into Wano. They did not do that. Because they knew that they could not win that fight because they are cowards. They are cowards at their point. So Robin, Nico, goddamn devil child, Robin, you go in there, girl. You kick out. And she fucking killed him. Straight up. Anybody else, that's a death. Straight up. Straight up killed a bitch. And I was like, yeah, no mercy. Fuck these guys. They're celestial dragons. Fuck these guys. None of this mercy bullshit. None of these knocking them out, beating the shit out of them. No, straight up murder. And I am here for it. Go, Robin. Go. You know, I'm 100% here for it. Of course, unfortunately, it doesn't actually work and stuff like that. We got to figure out that secret. But it doesn't work in any respect. So then Robin pulls a suicide pact with Summers, jumps right off of Elbat, just like, woo, and just like, yeah, no, I was faking that shit. But just to fuck with him and hopefully sending him out of commission for a while. Unfortunately, it doesn't work because he basically uses his thorn fruit to and use like a thorn branch sort of idea, like Tarzan style, to hold himself up there. The entire time, of course, it's about we'll sacrifice one child each time that you don't comply with our demands, you know, and they make this Ranja girl walk the plank, the lucky girl from the school and stuff like that. And they're like, you burn down the library, you burn everything, you burn all the books from O'Hara, you don't save a single one, and you do this and stuff like that, right? And, you know, here's your countdown, 30 seconds, make a decision. Jarl, and it's just like, and they're like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? It's like, we can't do this, or we can't give in to these demands. Let's kick their ass. Like, we are the giants. Like, our children might not be warriors, but we fucking are. We have Dorian Bragi here. We have Jarl. We have the Straw Hats. We are, like, why are we stopping? Why don't we beat the shit out of the world government? You think we're going to take this shit lying down? And then it's just, and then little Ranja, who's walked the plank, is saying, don't worry about me. I'm really lucky, and I love the school. I love the library. I love my friends, and everything that Elbaf has been doing right now has been great and stuff like that. Like, I don't want you to burn that down, so don't worry about me. I'm sure that I'll bounce off a cloud or something. And then we see, like, she's got this really brave voice, and they can obviously tell and we see the final panel, and she's just bawling her eyes out because she's just a little girl. I know giant children, you know, they age differently, so she's probably in her, like, she's probably been alive for 10, 20 years. But the fact of the matter is she's still in a childlike form. You know, the way they age is different, so she's still a child. You know, like Nami brings this up and stuff. It's like she's still just a little girl, and the fact that she's having this brave face, you know, this brave voice and stuff, and they can hear it, and they are just completely, and I'm just like, the Jarl did the right thing. I'm just gonna point that out. The Jarl did the right thing, because this is a little girl willing to sacrifice herself. And the Jarl's, his whole concept is that sacrificing even one little girl is too high a price. I don't care. I do not care about the history of Alba. I don't care about the tree. I don't care about our island. I don't care about anything. Sacrificing even one child is too great a price to pay. That's a goddamn leader. Like, I know he's obviously been, like, he's a very old man, like, I'm senile, the sword in my head and stuff like that. But no, this is a very compassionate giant. This is a giant who's been around, the oldest living person that we know of outside of the immortal bullshit people. And he is just like, he is just bawling himself. He's like, absolutely, Anji, burn down the school. This is an order. Burn that down. He doesn't want to do it, but he is not willing to sacrifice a little girl to save the history. You know, they're just books. At the end of the day, they might be important. They might be the most important texts of all time, but it's not worth the life of this little girl. And I'm like, yeah, you know, there's a gray area there that you can argue, and I'm like, no, I am 100% behind the Jarl here. It's like, no, we will fight these people, and we will wait for our opportunity, but not at the expense of our children. We are not gonna fucking play that game. And I'm like, all right, that's my guy. That's the Jarl. Instant respect, right up here in the pecking order. Let's go. And then, you know, after all this, it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna do that. And then as I already brought up, the greatest man on the island, literally, likely the most powerful man on the island, and I include Loki, Luffy, and Zoro in that statement. Summers comes back up. Ah ha ha! You finally commended us. There used to be a hand here. It's not regenerating. What the? Scopper Gaban slash. Scopper's serious. He's taking no prisoners. He gives 0 fucks. This is the left hand of the pirate. This is an enraged Scopper Gaban. He's sitting here like, he's like, Rayleigh, I went to my island. You Marines all knew where I was, but you knew not to fuck with my island. You knew not to come at me, because coming at me means you're gonna lose. So you left me alone. And now you're threatening not just my family, not just my own kid, by the way, who's in the lineup. You're threatening my home. You're threatening the kids that I have cared for 20 years, like, for decades. You think you can walk into my home? I'm the left hand of the Pirate King, motherfucker. You thought you could come onto my home turf and that you were going to... Done. And the fact of the matter is, His hand didn't regenerate. So Scopper has... Now, we saw the Black Lightning. If it's Conqueror's Hockey, once again, I argue a power scaling problem, but I don't give a shit right now. I love that Scopper's like, I'm done being the laughing, like, I'm done being, ha ha ha, I'm the love. No, there's no grin on that face. There's no smile. This man is all about business right now. This man is about to fucking lay down the law of Elbath. This man is about to say, regeneration? You have never watched Dragon Ball Z, and I'm motherfucking Goku here. I kill regen people I eat them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, motherfucker. You know how many main villains have the regeneration Piccolo cell bullshit? The bubblegum shit? No, I'm Scopper fucking Bond, baby. And he has no... There's no quarry. There's no... I can't wait for the next chapter when it's just like, oh... He kills God's Knights for fun, you know, and he's like, oh, and obviously at some point either it's Conqueror's Hockey is the answer, or there's a way to stop the God Knights regeneration, or they're limited in some way, because immediately he cut this thing and then he speed blitzed them, and Summers is now cut down, one arm missing, and it's like, or hand missing. What did he do? Was it just Conqueror's Hockey? Is that the answer? Because I would argue that seems a little... That's a bit of an issue. I think there's more to it. And I think that Scopper is going to, obviously, like, somebody like Robin or Jinbei is going to be like, how did you do that? We weren't able to do damage, lasting damage. Like, how do you do it? He's going to give them the answer. Whether it's hockey related, whether it's some other trick or something like that. I believe it must be hockey related in some regard, and maybe some of them will never be able to pull it off, which would be fair, I would argue, but I still think that it's crazy that at this late part in the game, we just got Zoro last arc, or 2 arcs ago, finally got more than one Conqueror's Hockey user, and the Warlords, only like 2 of them have Conqueror's Hockey, really? You know what I mean? Like Conquerors are like 1 in a million sort of idea, and it's a genetic thing. So you're telling me that there's 13 God's Knights and only a handful of people that might be killed as babies can ever actually fight them? Like, I'm just not... It's... Where Conqueror's Hockey is something that you are born with, or it's genetic, it's 1 in a million, it's not something you can train to obtain. I want to think that there is another trick to this, or if it is hockey related, it has to do with hockey itself, not specifically Conqueror's Hockey. So, but yeah, what do you guys think? I love the chapter. I love the fact that Gaban is just like, yeah, no, I'm done with this shit. This is my fucking island. You came into my house, and you thought you could fuck with my shit. Like, you guys got pretty fucking big for your britches. You didn't go after Rayleigh for 20 years knowing you couldn't take his ass in. You thought you could come to my island and do the same fucking thing? I'm the Mountain Eater, motherfucker. I'm the left hand of the Pirate King. You can't come to my island. You can't think you run this roost. This is my goddamn home, you know? Because this is the thing about the admirals. This is the thing about the world government. They're bitches. They're cowards. They never take on Shanks, Whitebeard, Big Mom, Yonko. They never take on these guys directly because they know they can't win. Or if they do win, it's at a level of loss that one of the other Yonko crews would be like, alright, they're so fucking weak, let's go plow them. You know? So, they're not in the position to be this cocky. And Scopper's just reminding these God's Knights, like, call yourself God's Knights all you want. You're here, I'm here, motherfucker. So, I love Gaban in this chapter. I think that he stole the absolute show. As cool as Robin was, I was like, yes, Robin, you are not timid. You are here. You're a badass bitch, and you don't need no man. Let's go to tell you what to do. Let's go. And she was awesome. But Gaban stole the show at the end of the chapter. Just did. So yeah, great chapter. Love the chapter. What did you guys think? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as always. We'll see you guys back here next time for chapter 1149 of the next piece of One Piece. Looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. Have a good one. Sayonara.